Hello again, YouTube. My phone cut me off the last time, so this is part 2. And between uploads, I need to wait for it all to upload before I can start recording again. So it actually works perfectly because, if you can see this, the two things we poured in the last video are all solidified now. This one was the one we topped off. We still have a little bit of stumpy wick here. We might be able to get that to light again, which I will try momentarily. And right here, this is hardly warm anymore. This is very solid. This dried very quickly. And I just wanted to take a moment to show you what we do when that's done. So, I actually figured out a way to hold this. Let's get some scissors here. Now, you'll want to leave a little bit, maybe half an inch, maybe something like that, third of an inch. Something that is akin to this size. You don't want it to be too long or too short. So you trim it down, and there you have it. And you have more wick, and you can definitely use that to wick another tea light with. Now this here, you see the wick's kind of stumpy. But what we're going to try to do, we're going to see if this one's going to light. Sometimes you can save them, sometimes you can't, but this one's a gamble. And I don't mind showing you if this fails. So, my lighter. You might also be able to get away with melting down a little bit of it. And yeah, you see that? Here we go. That has lit. It's not a huge flame, but it's enough. It's enough to give you some light. It's enough to work. I also wanted to show you what this looks like lit. They burn nicely, just like any other tea light. So that's mine that I just made, and I put the one I took apart back together. Just pushed it all back into place. I will light that one for a side-by-side comparison. I know the flame makes it a little bit weird to see, but I see no difference in how that is burning. So, homemade, store-bought. Beautiful. Perfect. Another thing I wanted to show you is when it comes to actually wicking the tabs. Just going to use this one again. So these they're pretty open. What you could do is take a little bit of pliers, a little bit of force here. You're going to open that up a little bit more. And if you find you can't get your wick all the way in there, you can grab something like a skewer or something to help. I have one over there. 1 second. I've grabbed a wooden skewer, and I've just stuck it up in there like that, and it's pushed a little bit of that debris out. You can also use it to kind of wrench open that hole. It's a lot more open, huh? So basically what you do is you take your wick, you push it up through there. You can leave a little bit on the bottom just to help hold it into place. You take your pliers and you go right around that little, I don't know, call it a nipple or something. And then you'd squeeze. Now you squeeze, it's going to bend it a little bit. Now you keep it like that if it's not too bad. But you can also bend it back just a little bit while still keeping it closed. So, and there you have another one. Very, very simple. Very simple. So you could stick this right into another one. And as I said before, I have a couple of blanks, so I could very well make another candle if I wanted to. And that's what they both look like. Otherwise, it's the one I made when it's repooling. It looks like this one burned a little hotter than this one does, but that's okay. They still burn very well. They still get you something like this at the end, which is what you want. And also, I've noticed that if you go outside and do your rituals, you will have tunneling and things happen like this more often. So if that's the case and you start doing rituals outside, you need extra light, so you bring these with you and you start having things like this and this happen with tunneling and the issue there, you can still save them this way. So do not fret. All is not lost if your candle misbehaves a little bit, or your temperature is a little off for the room you're burning it in, or if you're outside. So, all is not lost. All is well. It only takes a few minutes to really repurpose them. Another thing you can do, which this would involve me burning down one of these for a while and actually letting it pool completely. So when we had this one liquefied, so if I were to burn it, each of these burns maybe 2 to 3 hours-ish if it burns properly. From what I've noticed, I've burned a lot of them, so on average 2 to 3 hours-ish, maybe a little longer. What you can also do is, you see how I took a piece of this, like I broke another piece off there. If I had a candle, say this candle was liquefied right now, it's very hot. So also you don't want to touch these when they're liquefied, especially when they're still burning. They're going to be very hot since it's metal and conducts heat. Don't get burned. You could actually use these and just kind of pop them right in there, and it will melt down with it, and you can continue to, I call it feeding your candle, essentially. So you can feed the candle and use recycled wax that way if you don't want to melt all them down, and if you have something that you want to save or you feel like you could save. So that's a few ideas for you in using these different types of tea lights. You can use them for different ones, but this works especially well for these particular ones, the Mainstays tea lights. I get these from Walmart. So you don't have to worry about wasting a ton of money for this. And I've been using these bases as candle holders forever. They work so well. You can also do this with other candles. Let's see, do I have any nearby? This was other wax that I had, and this was a candle wick I actually saved from when I took a bunch of the white wax out and I was making a different candle, a different jar candle with a bunch of these tea light wax bits and stuff. So I had a base and a wick left over, so I repurposed wax. Now this is a little hard, so it might not burn as well. Now your different types of the wax, they do matter when it comes to this. These waxes, they're very soft, like here. I can just push right into that with my nail with no force, pretty much. And if you use friction with this, it acts almost like a coconut oil or some kind of a butter substance, or vegetable fat or whatever, something like that, if you get my consistency there. Something like this, it's very hard. Like I left maybe a tiny minuscule little scratch doing the same pressure there, maybe even a little more pressure. But you'll want to stick with jar wax, soft wax, or soy waxes, or something that is like this, so you don't have the problem where it just kind of burns down and it tunnels and it doesn't work, because pillar wax and taper wax, stuff like this, for candles like this, it's a lot harder, so it will burn differently. Softer waxes are better for jars, and jars will hold the heat better, so they'll pool out a little bit more, so you get candles like this. So you want to stick to ones that are like that to make into tea lights. So another idea, a quick idea you could do, is sometimes you get jar candles. where you tunnel. It tunnels in the middle. You have all this extra wax around the outside. See, this actually is tunneling a little bit, see? Well, that's a 70 candle, but you get the picture. What you can actually do is either cut some of it out. You could use the aluminum foil trick and wrap your candle, and then it smooths it out, helps to conduct the heat more. Or you could dig some of that out of the side and then put that into these tea lights. You can make little mini tea lights of bigger candles like that. And you could use candles and wax all sorts of different ways. But it's a little bonus tidbit of idea that I've done over the years. So yes, okay. Thank you for watching this. I hope it helped. Let me know if you have any questions. Blessed be. Have a lovely day. And as I said in my last video, I make chime candles. If you'd like some, let me know. We can talk.